Hey everybody, welcome back. We're playing RiME, and I know for me, it's been like 24 hours since I last played this game, and it might as well have been like 17 years, because I seriously don't remember where I am right now or what happened that led to me getting here. I think that there was like some weird puzzles that involved me hitting a bunch of balls and like near some statues, but that is it for the bird memory, because I tend to do a lot of random shit throughout the day, and I'm a very compartmentalized thinker, so to speak. And as soon as something leaves my mind, it is just gone. So anyway, let's ascend up this kick-ass tower of coolitude and see what was it exactly I was doing up here. I assume there's probably going to be some sort of giant orb at the top that I will interact with. Oh, right, the sun was setting right here, and I was like, that is just gorgeous. And I guess it's put me back down at the bottom of the tower. And I guess it also is not the sunset anymore, so that was absolutely wonderful timing on my part to get up here at the end of the day and see such a really cool scene. Oh, interesting. I have control over the day-night cycle now. So, just as I was saying, like, this game does have a day-night cycle. I was talking about the sunset. Who wants to see that again? I can bring it back up for you right now, at least. Yeah, let's stop playing with the giant Orby and look over there. Yeah, remember that shit? Whoa. There's some. I can tell this is an Unreal 4 game because Unreal 4 does their skyboxing and their day-night stuff really, really well. This sort of effect where you have the angle of your game's directional light impacting the colors of the skybox is something that's basically built into Unreal 4. And it was actually one of those things that they put into their demos and they show off, and everyone's like, ooh, I'm going to throw a lot of money at Unreal 4. Granted, it looks really, really nice, so, I mean, for one, one of the big things that drew me to the Unreal 4 engine were the way that things just looked in general, and that was actually one of the things I saw right away in that engine that made me just be like, yep, this is a really, really great engine. So, there is ostensibly some sort of bridge that I'm supposed to be able to cross. I think it might be tied to the time of day, and I'm wrong. Okay, well, ain't that some shit? Let's see. I guess I'll just look around a little bit. As always, it's an environmental puzzle game, so I guess I'll just try to figure out, based on what I can see around here, if there's a way for me to unlock the mysteries of how to get up to this tower here. And in fact, I don't really see anything except for these like symbols so far, and the fact that there's nothing for me to walk around on. So I got these symbols that I can look at, and I have one of these things has a statue on it, and the other thing does not have a statue on it. So I'm going to use that as my baseline of figuring stuff out from here. I can climb up on this box. I can not push it around, but I can interact with the ball. So what happens if I just like push this around like a lot? I wonder. Okay, so there is a day-night cycle, but it's more than that, right? Because there's more than just one day being represented on this in this area here. There's like 3 or 4. Like, let's take a quick inventory and count exactly how many days I pass by here. So you know, it's kind of a mundane task, but it's probably important for me to at least be aware of. So we have 1 day, and that goes down there. Okay, 2 days. Occurred roughly at the 90-degree mark, so I assume we have 4 days being represented. 3 days. Yep, okay. I'm going to go ahead and figure out that it's going to be 4 days. Now, for people that are aware, have been paying attention to this, you've noticed that this thing is glowing a lot. You may not know this because you're not currently me and you're not holding the controller. The controller vibrates like a goddamn maniac whenever this thing lights up, as if to say, puzzle, 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 puzzle. So, I was doing I already know about the glowy doughies. I just wanted to take a quick inventory of that mechanic, and I also appear to have kind of there's something my camera's a little bit messed up now, which is kind of funky. So, but this thing is glowing now. I'm gonna shout at it, and that appears to have not made a difference. So I'm gonna shout at this thing. Appears to have also not made a difference. It is now also no longer glowy doughy, so we're gonna come over here, we're gonna grab this bad boy. We're gonna push it back into Glow Town. And actually, hang on, let's see if the one on the right glows at any given point. And if it doesn't, yeah, so the left one just glowed. Yeah, okay, so let's put this back into Glow Town. And then we have, okay, now now the camera's returned to normal. So, I can go up to this thing, I can kind of stand in it, it's like a nook. And then this thing is like short, and this thing is roughly statue shaped. So I feel like I should be able to just like take this thing and push it into that nook over there. Or alternatively, I feel like if there was some sort of Pope hat, I would be able to look at this thing through the Pope hat and then be able to make it unlock the door, basically, which in this case would be the drawbridge. Obviously I ran out of time that evening, so I'm gonna push this ball back into place and okay, make this thing glow again. Now I can't interact with this. I also am getting, aha, there it is. So it was a pressure plate type of puzzle. Oh yeah, oh. That was neat. It's the world's biggest Pope hat. Okay, so I kind of was taking note of the fact that this thing was roughly my height, and in the back of my mind I was like putting that into some sort of context within the puzzle, even if I didn't say it out loud, but there you go. So that was just like a pressure platey type of thing. The Hyperlight Drifter is currently waiting for me across this bridge. Knowing how my previous encounters have gone with the Hyperlight Drifter, I will not, in fact, be able to catch up to him this time, much to my assumption that I would be able to. I've also noticed that the Fox seems to be really spending a lot more of his free time hanging out with the Hyperlight Drifter than me, which is bullshit, because the Hyperlight Drifter didn't rescue him from the statue. I did. Thanks a lot, Fox. You're not actually as cool of a friend as I thought you were. So, I'm tempted to chuck myself off of this area to see what's going on. And the temptation was capitalized upon. So, I'm gonna just see if maybe there's some sort of secrets around here underneath the bridge. Probably, if anything is down here, it would be some sort of collectible object. But I don't think I actually can spot anything of the sort. Oh. My natural troll tendencies are to not, like, go through obvious paths. And sometimes that pays off really, really nicely. This is one of those times. Alright, so I unlocked a photograph, I guess. And I guess I can be the ultimate of the Nickelbacks now. And we'll go back up to that main entrance post-haste. So, yeah, my natural troll tendencies in video games is if I can kind of detect that there's a direction that I'm supposed to be going, I'll often try to pull at the seams of the game a little bit and see if there's a way for me to find a route, either unintended or one that leads to little nifty little secrets like that. It's something that I built up from years and years and years of playing games that had a lot of more open world aspects to them, or like games that reward you a lot for exploration type things. And also because I like to see if I can just break everything that I touch. That's why people really enjoy my scrap mechanic, that's for damn sure. Okay. I forgot which button I needed to press to make this thing happen here. I'm gonna... Interesting. So, a very big dude used to sit on this chair, who also did not care much for the comforts of his ass, because that is a raw stone chair there. Okay, the floor is glowing in this room, and we have a witness puzzle lined up on all of the things. Yep, there it is. There's the witness puzzle right there. And it's gone now. So I solved it by doing walking. I'm going to continue to explore this room real quick because I want to see if it has any hidden secrets. I want to see if there's anything that I can interact with regards to these these lines on the pillars. And maybe it's one of those camera angle type of puzzles where if I can see a couple things, I can make a line appear or something like that. And as you can see, I really puzzled together that one super duper well. And this room where somebody spilled a bunch of, let's say, protein on the ground, and there's a eternal flashlight shining into it, will just have to remain as a mystery for somebody else to figure out. I'm gonna leave it towards the lore masters who'll be like, this was the room where terrible, terrible things happened while everyone was on ecstasy, and they put a black light in it and illuminated everyone's shame. Obviously my British accent to make lore videos still needs a little bit of work, but do those lore videos have this? No, I don't think they do. No, I don't think they do. Oh great, more protein stains. Let's keep following where this is going. I need to come up with a joke that's slightly less disgusting while I continue with this section, let's say. And, I don't know, let's say somebody spilled their magical milk. Okay. Yeah, let's just say somebody spilled their milk on the ground. Oh, interesting. Was I always able to yell at the vases to break them? Well, there's another test vase back in the other direction for me to attempt that on. And... I'll, like, circle my way through that, but first I'm just gonna keep going the sort of intended route here, and just break everything so that I've unlocked as much stuff in this part of the game as possible. You know, if you play a lot of puzzle games, you start to get little instincts about stuff like this. You learn about... Oh, yeah, this was the one that I was supposed to actually figure that out on, apparently. The other ones didn't have that notification appear on them. Does this one break? It does indeed. Yeah, you start to develop, as you play enough puzzle games, you start to develop a instinct for them a little bit. You kind of learn, okay, these are the things that I need to watch out for. Especially if you learn about game design, because game design basically tells you how games are... how like any game generically is put together, and then you just like identify those principles as you play any sort of video game you want. So when I go into these rooms, I look for things like, I look for guiding lines in the environment. It can be things that are overt. It can be things that are subtle. Like, back over here, let me point this out. I'm going to go back a little ways to a couple of rocks that I passed under and didn't really say anything about, but I took a mental note of it. So if I go back over here, where was it? I think it was just right there. Yes, in my head, I walked by this pillar and I thought to myself, like, is this this is clearly like a thing that is supposed to guide the player visually towards like looking up at this ledge. And indeed, if we look up here, I have a ledge that I can grab onto. So without even really thinking about it or even voicing it, like, I was just mentally keeping track of, like, there's this thing that's sloping upwards. It's not obviously a ramp, but it's directing my eye upwards as if to suggest, like, hey, there is a way to go up here. And I mean, it's a pretty, on its face, it's a very simple puzzle. So it just kind of, you just climb up the thing that presents itself as the visual indicator. Other games aren't so obvious about it as this one might have been in this moment. And I learned about stuff like that purely just by studying game design, and I will I'll talk about that a little bit more just gradually as I play this game, because it does go extensively into game design concepts. It's very on its face with like how this game presents itself and how everything fits together. So it gives me lots of things that I find very interesting to pull apart and talk about. But for right now, for the sake of where I am, I'm going to probably call this episode right here, and we'll explore this whole upper area next time. So thank you all for watching.